Hello, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy it, and I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. So what are we doing today? I'm going to do a kit video today, and this is all around me here, my new kit called Halloween Assemblage. If you followed me for a little while, you know that I've got a couple of assemblage kits already. This one is Halloween themed, as we are coming up to spooky season. What I've got is all the background tags here, and I have cut them out. This was a lot of cutting, and I won't lie, I did most of it on my Cricut. If you don't know how to cut on your Cricut, print and cut, I've got a video, I will link it down below. Now, I have backed these onto 160 GSM cardstock, which did mean I had to recut these, which was fine because they're pretty straight. So they're all ready to go. I've cut all of the image tags. These ones are slightly larger, these ones are slightly smaller, all cut and inked. These ones I did on the Cricut, and also the Fussy cuts. The words were also cut by hand, but Jay did those. And there are also some kind of label shaped tags this time too. So I'm literally just going to craft. I've got some glue. I have got some dyed cheesecloth. I've got some twine. I'm not sure if I'll use it, but I have some sticky tape, and I also have some Halloween charms, which may or may not get used. So that's what I've got. May or may not use some, all, or whatever, but we're going to just make some little tags. So I've got the larger ones. Let's start with the larger one. What else could I use? What have we got here? I don't know. Let's just start with a few little pieces. These are quite cool. I'm just going to layer a few things now. Let's look at some of these little pieces here, quite like that. Auditioning is always part and parcel of creating, and you never know what you're going to come up with. That's a little one, isn't it? Let's do a little one as well. Oh, that's quite creepy, like that. I don't know how many we're going to do. I just wanted to have a little play, quite like that. So many different bits and pieces to kind of use. Now, I do like sets of 3. That's quite nice. We've got a little gentleman on that tag. That's quite like that. Bat. That would go on here, wouldn't it? Not sure about the black. Let's swap that out for something a bit lighter. Some of these I might do with a bit of dimension. Some of them I might do flat. Not sure. Let's see about layering. Give that a bit more dimension. Oh, maybe we've got something in between here. Quite like. Not sure about this one. That's quite cool. I like that on there. I like layering, like I said, maybe 3s to start with. Love that orange. Oh, a little bit witchy. That's quite cool. Now, got the moon here. Oh, now let's have a look at the candle. That's quite cool. That's quite nice. Like the cat. What could we add the cat to? Maybe we'll have to get another tag. This one. So, if you haven't done a lot of layering in the past, odd numbers are always great. You can always start with 3s. 3s work really well. And then you can kind of look from there whether you want to add anything else. like I said, layering is super fun once you're confident with it. And it's just a case of, like I said, auditioning bits and pieces, seeing what you like. That looks a little bit lost on there, so I'm not going to go for that one. I do really like these spooky trees, though. Possibly. How about the moon behind the cat? Let's have a look at that. No, no, although maybe we could skip him and quite like that. That's quite cool. Let's have a look at using, what else have we got here? Quite like that one. That's quite cool. With the little potion bottle, that could be a very straightforward one, couldn't it? Like something like that. I think I like these people a little bit more. We've only got 2 things on here and we've got 2 on here. Now it doesn't mean just because I like things in 3s they always have to be in 3s. Did anyone watch, I know there's a new version of it, Charmed. Did anyone watch that years and years ago, the original version? They were very keen on the power of 3, and that kind of works with collaging and layering too. Liking that. Right, I'm going to move some of these aside and we're going to start putting some of them together. I'm going to start with a little bat because I like that. Right, now this one I'm actually quite interested, quite keen to give this some dimension. So I'm going to grab my good old cardboard. You know I love my cardboard. And I'm just going to cut a little piece to go behind this label. Yeah, like that. So because this is a shiny edge, I'm going to stick that first. So it's going to have a little bit of extra drying time. And that is then just going to lift that up very slightly and elevate our little bat. I'm still going to have a little bit of something behind that, I think. Now I'm just going to come to this. I'm going to grab my tape. Now I'm actually going to move. I'm going to use mine. And the reason I'm going to use mine is because I can cut it into smaller lengths. And it's also really cool to cut with a pair of textured scissors. And it doesn't always cut very well, which gives it that real authentic tape look, I think. Where did I put my scissors? Had them right here. Oh. You love it when things are right in front of your eyes and you still can't see them. Let's add a little bit of tape here. I want it to line up at the edge. So we'll add a little bit of interest there. I'm going to grab a stencil. I want something quite subtle. Small pattern. Love that. I'll just put this. So we're not doing a whole lot to this. Before I glue these down, I want to have a look at my words. Now I've got my words over here. I'm just going to have a little look until I can find something I like. I think I'm going to go for be bad. Be bad. Not too bad. Not too bad, just a little bit bad. And I mean things like, you know, have an extra cake when you really shouldn't. I hope I'm not going to make this too long a video. Now, I think I might want a little bit of layering here. And I'm also going to, what's this? Maybe a little piece of my, I really think adding a little bit of the blue. I've just inked this cheesecloth with a little bit of archival So I used the Jet Black Archival, and then I used Walnut Stain spray and what's this one called? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think the little bit of blue popping out there is just quite nice, but I do like the idea of our little Mr. Bat flapping around. So I'm going to add a bit of glue to my little panel here. Right, I don't know if this is going to work. I've only ever done it with butterflies, but I'm going to bend my wings. Now, this is obviously not something you can add to a tag, but you could, I mean, it'd probably be a good idea to back this a little bit to give it a bit more stability as well, but you could always add, I mean, you could even laminate it. That would give it a bit of stability, but I just like the idea of the wings looking like they're in motion slightly. I'm going to grab my brush and I'm just going to ink the back of the wings slightly, just because some of that might get seen. I haven't lost them yet. Woohoo! Oops. I'm going to add a little bit of glue as well, just to be doubly sure. I'm going to lay a couple of these little spacers. Right. Now, can I get the back off? That's 2. And again, I'm just going to reinforce with a little bit of glue. Put my little bat friend down. I'm just going to hold that in place for a moment. I'm going to put these aside. And I'm also going to trim off some of this because I don't want too much on there. Ooh, I love that. That would make a really cool card topper, wouldn't it? In the Cricut, you can remove the border. When you first upload your image, you can use your magic wand and select that and remove it. And because I was using the Cricut, I could have done that, but I would have lost some of his feet. So that's the first one. Let's do something very simple on this one. Right, I'm not going to back anything on this one. I'm going to glue here, glue this straight on, and it just gives the bottom of that tag a little bit of texture. Now, I cut these out with my textured scissors, and that's this. And this time, I think, yep, I'm just going to glue it straight down. I'm going to have a mix of more elaborate and more plain, straightforward. About there. Right. Put that there. And that's the start of something. We can always do more to that at another time, but I quite like that. So that's number 2. Oh, what next? I can't believe it. I've actually already lost all of those tabs that I made. So I watched Tony. I'm still doing really well on my only buying one thing a month. I actually haven't bought something every month. I'm doing very well. So I'm going to cut one of these out. But this was a purchase after watching Crafty by Tony. This large tab. You don't have to use a punch. You can cut them out yourself, obviously. And then I'm going to use I don't have those. I have to be quite gentle with this because it is a bit rough. It's rough old sandpaper. Should probably use a mask. Make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. But these are so cheap. So cheap. And they last so long. Right. So I now have a fabulous tab. A little bit. Not too much. And I'm actually going to use this as a tab. Now, it is inked. It is backed. So it's quite hefty. And we could still have this sticking out on a journal. So I'm just going to start by gluing my base tag to my tab. I'm not doing a very good job of that. not doing a very good job of that at all. Do it from the back, Tracie. Okay, so that could go onto a page. So because it could go onto a page, we don't want this to, we don't want it to hang over that side, but it can hang over this side because that would be against the page. So I'm going to go for that. I don't know what it is. I think it's an age thing. I'm hoping it's an age thing. But I've found I find it much more difficult to talk and do at the same time. I used to be much better at it, but I'm certainly not anymore. There we go. That's quite cool. Fairly like that. Yeah. Right, so words. What can we have? I think I needed to have lifted that up a little bit. I think I've put it a little bit low. So I'm going to have to go for something like that with my label. Oh, I have so much trouble not getting glue on little words like that. I love that. That's actually really cool. Not her. No way. Can't be true. Oh, I actually like this one. I'm going to do this one next. So we've got a little tag, and I think I'm going to give this a little bit of dimension as well. Why not? So I'm just going to loosely now, because I'm using this as a cardboard box and it's shiny one side, so I always stick that first to give it a little bit of extra drying time. So that's going to go there, and then this is kind of going to go over the top, but I don't want to cover up the little gentleman down in the corner. Now I know I'm going to flatten that cardboard at that top end, but that's okay. That's still pretty cool, pretty in there. Right, now I'm going to find something to go on here. It's just really nice to have a relaxing crafting session. Just, you know, just have a bit of fun. Just have a little bit of fun. Now I'm going to make sure, yeah, I'm going to glue this down. I've got plenty of card. Just going to make sure the card is not overhanging the back, which it's not. Now, because we've got the sari in here, I'm just going to hold that down for a minute longer than I normally would, just to make sure that's nicely stuck into place. But we have got that little dimension where it's sort of not quite up against the tag. I'm going to see if he is still going to fit perfectly there. Cool. And now for some words. I'd like something, or we've got plenty of room here to actually put 2 words, so we could find one of the kind of double phrases that we have. So we could go dark. Crikey, I struggle so much picking these things up. Dark and eerie. I love that. Love it. Oh, 4. That's 4. I really like this. I do really like this. Yeah. So I'm going to glue this down. I don't think we need to do any elevating on this one. I think we're just going to go straight glued, straight on glued, glued straight on. This is a nice straightforward 1, 2, 3. There you go. Family in front of the moon. I think I might go for the word silence, and I think I might put under that, rather than go for the blues and the greys, I might put a little bit of just grungy. Am I the only person in the world that can't use this stuff? It never goes where I want it to go. It does its own thing. I'm going to put a little bit of a thicker glue in the middle there, and hopefully that will... Blimey Charlie. Yep, I messed that right up. We got there in the end. And I'm just going to trim some of this off because I think there's way too much on there. That just keeps coming. Still think there's a bit too much there, do you? Okay, like that, like that. I'm going to grab my slot punch, slot in there. Oh, I just can never pick anything up. Everything seems to get like a little suction. Do you know what? That would be much better around the other way. I'm going to put that in again. So I'm just going to run a quick stitch along here. That would have been nicer with a black cotton, but I had blue in the sewing machine, so blue it is. I love it. Very simple, very straightforward. It would have been nice to do something to the moon to give that. Oh, wink of Stella. Where is it? Where is it? See the little shimmer. So that's really cool. Love that. Anyway, that's number 5. Getting a bit carried away, and my tummy's starting to rumble, and my microphone is very close to my tummy. So I'm going to stop now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I love them. I love everything. This one has got to be my favourite. I love the dimension on that bat. I really like all of them. So we've got something from the very, very simple to a little bit more dimensional. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like the little makes today. I will see you all really soon. Actually, I'll see you next Friday. We're actually taking a couple of days off. So we will not be around Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. But when we come back on Thursday, we should hopefully have new stock of the stamps, and we can crack on with lots of other projects we've got going on at the moment too. So thank you so much for joining us. I will see you all really soon. Bye.